Hi, welcome back to Starz Recapped. Today, we're diving into a British-Irish horror action film that blends folklore, fear, and forest terrors. It's called The Hallow, released in 2015. Spoiler alert, watch out and take care. The story begins with Adam Hitchens, a British ecologist, moving into a remote village in Ireland with his wife Claire, their infant son Finn, and their dog Iggy. Their new home, a secluded house near a dense ancient forest, one that's about to be cleared for development. Adam wants to study the forest's ecosystem before it's destroyed, so he starts collecting samples right away. While Claire focuses on repairing the house, Adam heads into the woods with Finn and Iggy by his side. Deep in the forest, Adam notices something odd, a black, oily slime oozing from a tree trunk. Intrigued, he scrapes a sample into a vial for his research. But Iggy, the dog, starts wandering further into the woods. When Adam calls him back, Iggy ignores him. As he chases after the dog, Adam accidentally drops Finn's pacifier into a nearby stream, a small but chilling detail given what's coming. Eventually, he finds Iggy barking aggressively at something, a mysterious abandoned structure standing eerily alone in the forest. The structure looks like an unfinished cabin, with half-built walls, no proper roof, and grass growing through the floorboards. It hasn't been touched in years. Inside, Adam spots something disturbing, a dead animal slumped unnaturally against a wall. Its body is twisted, decomposed, and leaking that same slimy black substance. Donning gloves, Adam pulls out his magnifying glass to inspect the creature. On its back, he sees a long gash, the source of the slime. Something isn't right in these woods. Meanwhile, a man named Colm Donnelly shows up at the Hitchens' home, and Claire isn't happy to see him. Letting out a tired sigh, she recognizes the car instantly. This isn't the first time Colm has come knocking. Colm, a grizzled local, is clearly not a fan of Adam's forest explorations. He warns Claire that what Adam is doing is dangerous, not just illegal trespassing, but something far worse. He talks of invasion and unseen threats, speaking in that cryptic, ominous tone only horror villagers seem to master. Claire, hoping to get rid of him, promises that Adam will visit and talk things out. But Colm won't leave until she agrees it has to happen today. Inside the house, Claire is startled to find Adam already back, slipping in through the back door with a scientist's glee. He's thrilled about the day's samples, barely noticing Claire's stress. He promises to talk to the grumpy neighbor soon, but first, science. Later, Adam examines the black slime under a microscope, and what he sees is deeply unnatural. One single cell is attacking another, and then weirdly, the second cell starts to transform, taking on traits of the attacker. It's as if it's being infected or converted. That night, Claire is tucking baby Finn into bed when she notices something dripping from the ceiling, right onto the baby's blanket. It's the same black slime. She calls out to Adam, worried that something's leaking from the attic. Adam heads up to check it out. In the dusty attic, he gets distracted by a stack of old vinyl records, flipping through them absent-mindedly. He fails to notice something far more disturbing. In the corner of the attic wall, the black slime is growing, not like liquid, but like hair, slithering down the wood in unnatural strands. Whatever it is, it's spreading. Adam returns from the attic and reassures Claire that everything up there is totally fine, probably just some harmless humidity, he says. Still riding the high from his discovery, he shares an unsettling image with her, a parasitic fungus known as cordyceps. It's a real-life horror. It invades an ant's body like a Trojan horse, penetrates the brain, and takes control of the host, using it to infect the entire colony with spores. Claire is totally grossed out by this little science lesson. But Adam? He finds fungi fascinating. So much so that the conversation starts to turn a little romantic. Claire slowly warms up to the mood too. Things start to heat up until their moment is interrupted by the sound of baby Finn crying through the monitor. Claire heads toward the nursery, but suddenly there's a loud crash of breaking glass. At the same time, Finn's crying escalates into a terrified scream. Claire sprints up the stairs only to have the door slam shut in her face. Pushing through, she finds Finn sobbing in his crib, unharmed but clearly shaken. Adam arrives just after her and inspects the room. The window is broken and the lamp is knocked over. It looks like someone threw something through the window. But when Adam checks outside, No one's there. His immediate conclusion, it must have been Colm Donnelly, angry because Adam skipped their meeting. The police arrive shortly after, but they're not exactly helpful. They suggest it might have just been a confused bird and tell Adam not to worry. Adam tries to explain that this wasn't just an accident, someone is trying to intimidate them, but the officers remain unconvinced, brushing it off as nothing serious. Claire, however, can't shake the unease, and the forest? It's starting to feel closer than ever. Later, Claire opens up about how unwelcome she's felt in the village, how the locals haven't exactly been rolling out the red carpet. To her surprise, even the police officer doesn't seem thrilled about their presence. He explains that the villagers are deeply superstitious and believe that the forest belongs to the Hallow, a mysterious mythical group of beings said to live in the woods. Fairies, goblins, changelings, not the glittery kind. The ancient, terrifying kind. Adam, ever the rational scientist, scoffs at the very idea, rolling his eyes like he just sat through a bad ghost story. But the officer remains oddly serious. He warns that the locals believe bad things happen when people start messing with what they shouldn't. Then he drops a bombshell. He tells them about Colm Donnelly's daughter, Cora, a little girl who vanished in the forest years ago. She went out one day and never came back. Colm believes she was taken by the creatures of the Hallow. After the police leave, Adam is still firmly unconvinced. He refuses to believe that a bird broke the window, but he also refuses to believe in forest spirits. So he decides to take matters into his own hands. He plans to gather solid evidence that Colm Donnelly is behind the strange incident, maybe to scare them off, or worse. But while Adam is chasing logic, the forest is getting closer. The Hallow is stirring. The next evening, Adam heads out to the backyard, determined to gather evidence. He starts snapping photos of the broken window, hoping to prove that Colm was behind the damage. But then, he hears movement in the bushes. Slow, subtle, something alive. He raises his camera toward the shrubbery and hits the flash. Click! For just a split second, the camera flash illuminates something off, a strange shape in the darkness, and a pair of glowing eyes staring straight at him. But the image is gone just as fast. Adam convinces himself it was nothing, probably a trick of the light. His camera didn't capture anything clear. Still, something's not right. Meanwhile, Iggy, the family dog, is barking and growling at the old shed in the yard. Adam approaches cautiously and hears something unsettling, a faint whimper, almost human, coming from inside. He opens the shed door, ready for anything. But all he finds is junk. Tools, debris, nothing unusual. He leaves, closing the door behind him, but the camera lingers, and as Adam walks away, the shed door creaks open again. And from within, we hear the unmistakable sound of a baby softly crying. The next morning, Adam tells Claire he'll finally go see Colm after fixing the broken window. He takes baby Finn with him for the ride into town, leaving Claire and Iggy at home. As Claire tidies up the nursery, she discovers something disturbing. On one of the baby's sheets, the black slime has gathered into a dense, fungus-like growth. It's pulsing slightly as if it's alive, but she doesn't yet realize. Outside, Iggy has sensed something again. The dog stares into the woods, frozen, alert. Then he takes off, venturing into the forest alone, and from the darkness beyond the trees, something is waiting. While Claire faces strange happenings at home, Adam heads into town, carrying the broken window to a glazier named Thomas. But instead of small talk, Thomas gets straight to the point. He knows what Adam does for a living, studying the forest, disturbing it, and he doesn't hold back his opinion. That bird that smashed the window? Not a bird. It was the Hallow, and it's already invading your home, just like it's been creeping through the woods. Adam is, of course, skeptical. Thomas agrees to fix the window, but cryptically adds, without the metal piece, it won't make much difference. He doesn't explain, and Adam doesn't ask. Meanwhile, back at the house, Claire gets a frightening surprise. Colm Donnelly and his son show up, inside her home, unannounced and uninvited. Claire is visibly shaken, and Colm is furious. He accuses her and Adam of ignoring his repeated warnings. He insists he's not crazy, even if they think so. For a tense moment, it looks like he might pull a weapon from his pocket. Claire nearly cries in panic, but instead he pulls out an old book, weathered, ancient-looking, and drops it on the table without another word. Then he turns and leaves, silently. Driving back from town, Adam glances away for just a moment to pick up Finn's toy from the floor. When he looks up, Colm is right in front of the car. He slams the brakes and stops just in time. The two men lock eyes. No words. Just tension and distrust, thick as the forest fog. They pass each other, but the air between them grows colder. Adam continues his drive through the forest, but suddenly, everything begins to go wrong. The music player malfunctions, looping distorted noises, and the dashboard flickers. Then the steering becomes unresponsive. The car jerks side to side as if something is taking control. Adam slams the brakes, bringing the car to a stop. The newly repaired window shatters from the jolt, and to make things worse, the engine won't restart. When he opens the hood to check, it's filled with black slime. As Adam heads to the back to get a tool, something shoves him hard. The hood slams shut, knocking him unconscious. When Adam wakes up, it's night, and he's trapped in the trunk. Outside, he hears the cries of baby Finn, still in the back seat. And then, something begins attacking the car. The vehicle rocks violently. Something huge is circling, banging on the doors, slamming the metal. Shadows race across the windows. Claw marks tear through the paint. In desperation, Adam rips through the seat fabric, grabs the baby, and escapes with only a flashlight. The creature vanishes into the woods, but the damage is done. The car is in ruins, and Adam is now certain this is not Colm. Hearing Iggy barking in the distance, Adam follows the sound home, clutching the baby. He bursts into the house and demands Claire call the police, still blaming Colm, though the signs point to something far worse. Claire flinches when she sees Adam carrying a rifle, but he insists it's for protection. Then suddenly, the lights go out. Glass explodes in every room, windows shattering all at once. Adam tells Claire to lock herself and Finn in the bedroom and prepares to defend the house. Rifle in hand, he heads downstairs. One room is flashing with a strange light. As he pushes the door open, a creature inside lets out a piercing screech. Adam fires. Upstairs, Claire screams in terror, unsure of what her husband has just faced. Adam fires at the room, but when he enters, he realizes there's no one inside. The terrifying screech, just the door creaking open. The flashing light, only his own camera going off. But it's clear, the house has been breached. Furniture is overturned. Drawers are open. The place is ransacked. Adam lashes out in frustration. He blames Colm, mocks the superstitious book the old man left behind, and refuses to accept what's happening. Claire urges him to put the anger aside. Right or wrong, we need to leave. As they pack and prepare to escape, Adam finds Iggy in the shed. The dog is bloody, one eye red and swollen, and holding something in his mouth. Adam assumes Colm did it, but he doesn't have time to think. He puts the collar on the dog and rushes the family back to the broken-down car. But just as they reach it, Iggy breaks free, barking into the woods. Suddenly, his barks turn to painful whimpers, then silence, followed by the horrible sound of tearing flesh. They've lost him. Determined to escape, Adam pops the hood, but the engine is thick with web-like filaments. As they try to clean it, Claire freezes. Her eyes lock on the forest. Dozens of monstrous creatures are crawling out of the darkness, heading straight for them. She slams the accelerator, the engine miraculously starts, just as Adam closes the hood. But behind him, a line of horrors, humanoid yet twisted, shrieking in the moonlight. Adam jumps into the car and they make a break for the road. The creatures chase them, flinging black slime that splatters the car and shatters the rear window. Suddenly, a horrifying sight. A ghastly zombie-like girl appears in the headlights. Claire swerves and the car goes tumbling down a slope, crashing deep in the forest. With no choice, the family stumbles back home. Their clothes are torn, their faces scratched, and now they know the truth. The Hallow is real. Adam peeks through the keyhole to check if they were followed, and something strikes him right in the eye. A sharp sting, followed by slime oozing in through the hole. The door shakes violently, then falls quiet. Adam cautiously opens it and shines a flashlight outside. The light reveals a hideous creature which screams and shrinks back into the dark. That's when Adam realizes they fear light. It's their weakness. He decides to restart the generator, but it's in the shed, and he'll have to go alone. Before heading out, Adam leads Claire and Finn to the attic. He begs her to stay hidden and keep the trapdoor sealed no matter what she hears. Then he ventures into the shed. Inside, he finds the slime has spread everywhere, even coating the circuit box. The rot is taking over. Up in the attic, Claire notices moisture seeping into the wooden beams at an unnatural speed. The wood swells and cracks, and suddenly it begins to collapse. She grabs the trapdoor, bracing it with all her strength. Then, a sticky claw breaks through the boards. Reaching blindly, the grotesque fingers feel around inches from her face. More creatures land on the roof, poking holes through the shingles, filling the room with noise, wetness, and panic. Back in the shed, Adam struggles with burning pain. Slime is spreading through his bloodstream, and he begins hallucinating. But with sheer will, he fights it back and manages to start the generator. Instantly, the lights blaze on. The creatures shriek and vanish, recoiling into the shadows. Claire is safe, for now. As Adam stumbles back to the house, he accidentally touches an iron rod and it burns his skin. Black slime leaks from his wound. He rushes to the mirror and sees what he feared. His eye is infected, darkened, and oozing. He's changing. But he says nothing to Claire. He simply patches his eye and pretends everything is fine. Adam tells Claire they need to reinforce the house with iron bars, insisting that iron repels the Hallow. She's puzzled. How do you know this will work? And she notices he doesn't touch the bars himself. That's when the first monster approaches the window again. It stares through the glass, snarling, but doesn't come in. The iron is working. Claire still feels something's off. The generator hums, but it won't last forever. The light is all that's keeping them all, but Adam may no longer be fully human. Adam, worried about the Hallow returning, places Finn inside a cabinet, leaving the baby monitor with him for safety. Claire is clearly uncomfortable with this plan, but reluctantly agrees, trying to trust Adam despite her growing suspicions. As Adam begins flipping through Column's ancient book, he lands on a chilling passage. The Changeling, a fake child, crafted by the forest to replace a real one. Meanwhile, Claire becomes uneasy. She can't see Finn, and Adam's behavior feels increasingly strange. Driven by instinct, she quietly opens the cabinet door and screams in horror as a hollow creature is already inside, abducting her baby. The creature melts into the wall, dragging Finn away through rot and black slime. The couple panics, chasing the cries of their child through the house. Adam tracks the monster into the attic, where he briefly spots Finn in its grasp. As he reaches for the baby, another claw rips through the ceiling, slashing his face. He screams and falls through the trapdoor, crashing to the floor below. By the time he recovers, the baby is gone. Taken. Without hesitation, Claire bolts into the forest, chasing the cries through the baby monitor signal. As Adam struggles to tend to his injured leg and fight off the spreading infection, Claire's desperation leads her to a fog-covered lake. There she sees Finn's blanket floating and dives in without a second thought. She resurfaces with Finn in her arms, soaked and gasping. The forest is eerily silent. The hollow creatures watch from the shadows, but none make a move to stop her. For now, this marks a turning point. Claire has her baby back, but the threat is far from over, and Adam may no longer be who he was. Claire returns home, exhausted and soaked, clutching Finn in her arms. Adam reaches out for the baby. She hesitates, but chooses to trust him, handing Finn over. But almost immediately, Adam looks disturbed. He stares at the baby and says, "This is not our child." Claire's eyes widen. Adam insists that the creatures switched the baby, replacing Finn with a changeling, one made to mimic the real child. Claire tries to reason with him, bringing up the fungus-controlling ant story he once told, claiming his mind is infected and he's hallucinating. But Adam grows erratic. He shoves Claire away, raises a nail to his own forehead, and threatens to kill the baby to stop the spread. From his perspective, the baby appears to briefly mutate, convincing him he's right. Claire strikes him in the back with a heavy object and grabs the baby again. But when she looks at the child's face, it's completely normal. Claire runs to the shed, locking herself inside with Finn as Adam chases her, banging on the door. His voice now warps unnaturally, part human, part creature, as he insists, "That thing is not our son." Claire listens, and some of what he says makes sense. After all, why would the Hallow so easily return the real baby? But through the cracks, she can now see fungal growths overtaking Adam's face. He's transforming. When he finally bursts in, she shines a flashlight at him, and he recoils. She picks up a scythe, shielding herself, knowing he's no longer fully human. Adam seizes up, convulsing violently as the fungus spreads. For a moment, Claire feels a pang of pity watching the man she loves in agony. But then he lunges again, grabbing her leg tightly. This time, Claire doesn't hesitate. She escapes, taking the camera with her, desperate for the truth. Now severely transformed, Adam staggers through the dense forest, wielding a flaming scythe. He passes the abandoned structure and sees Iggy, their loyal dog, fully mutated and lost to the Hallow. Despite the overwhelming infection, the light of the fire keeps the nearby creatures at bay. Claire, exhausted and frantic, finds a neighboring house. She knocks desperately for help, but the one who opens the door is Colum, gun raised, eyes full of fear and fury. He kicks her out, blaming her for bringing the curse back to the land, too afraid to let her in. Back in the crumbling structure, Adam continues to fight through waves of creatures. He discovers a small, eerily still girl, fully transformed. She is Cora, Colum's long-lost daughter. In her arms, she cradles a human baby. She opens her palm and reveals a familiar pacifier, the one Finn dropped by the stream. Adam realizes this is the real Finn, but when he tries to approach, Cora snarls, fiercely protective. Meanwhile, Claire is lost in the woods, using the camera flash to keep the monsters at bay, but the battery is dying. Flashes get weaker. The creatures close in from the treetops. Suddenly, the camera dies completely. Claire is surrounded, frozen in terror, when she hears Adam's voice call her name. Adam appears, barely recognizable, holding a baby in his arms. His body is warped and infected, but his eyes plead. "This is the real Finn," he says. Claire is horrified. Both babies are identical, one in her arms, one in his. Adam begs her to take the real one, the one Cora returned. Then he turns and fights off the attacking Hallow. As Claire watches, a monster's claw pierces Adam's back, dropping him to his knees. Time is running out. In that heart-wrenching moment, Claire places the baby she had on the ground and picks up the other. Adam, barely alive, sees her make the choice and manages a faint, grateful look. Claire runs through the woods, clutching the baby tightly, dodging creatures, and escaping into the breaking dawn. Behind her, the forest goes still. As sunrise breaks over the forest, the first golden rays fall upon the baby left behind. Adam, barely alive, watches with tearful eyes and finally sees the truth. The false baby is burned by the sunlight, its illusion fading until it withers into ash and dust. With peace in his heart, Adam takes his final breath. Meanwhile, Claire returns home safely, having saved the real Finn. Sometime later, we see the forest being cleared by logging trucks, but as the wood is hauled away, a sinister detail emerges. The logs are covered in black slime. The Hallow still lingers. And that was the Hallow. What did you think of the movie? Creepy, emotional, or just plain wild? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown, and leave a like to support the channel. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay out of the woods.